Welcome to the All Rise Podcast Sunday Scaries. I'm your host, Christine, a civil litigator and personal mentor. Every Sunday, we'll tackle those dreaded Sunday Scaries together to demystify the practice of law and provide you with actionable tips and guidance to face your week ahead. So grab a cup of coffee, take a deep breath, and join me while we turn those Sunday Scaries into stepping stones towards your success. Let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of All Rise Mentors Sunday Scaries, where we transform those Sunday Scaries into actionable strategies for success. I'm your host, Christine Barker, and today we're going to dive into a topic that is really important. And it's the common challenges women face in the legal field and how to overcome them. Being a woman in the legal profession comes with its own set of unique challenges, from balancing work and personal life to being taken seriously in the courtroom and in the office. Finding the right mentors, these hurdles are just some of the things that women attorneys encounter. But fear not, today we are going to explore practical strategies to tackle these challenges head on. First up, let's talk work-life balance. So the legal field is notoriously demanding. We all know this. And for women, balancing professional responsibilities with personal commitments can be particularly challenging. As a recovering perfectionist, I still want to do it all. I want to be a lawyer, a managing partner, a mentor, a wife, a daughter, a friend, a sister. I want all of it. With a caseload of over 200 cases, I still try and cook dinner for my husband a couple of nights a week. And we don't even have children. We just have 2 cats. I don't want to give any of that up. I love being a lawyer and I love managing my team. I love managing my office, but I also love being a wife. I love being a sister. I love going to brunch with my sisters. I love traveling. I love being a friend. I love sitting down on a Saturday night over a glass of wine talking with my friends. And I don't want to give any of that up simply because I chose a demanding career in the legal field. I love traveling to New Orleans with my husband. I like trying new recipes. I actually do like to cook. It unwinds me. I feel good at the end of the evening. Pour a glass of wine, turn on some music, and try out a new recipe. I love reading psychological thrillers. My husband laughs at me that I read all day for a living, and what do I want to do at the end of the night to unwind? I want to curl up with a good book. So I want to be able to have it all and do it all. And I think a lot of women do. Personally, I refuse to believe it can't be done. I just got to be smart about it, and so do you, when you are balancing both your professional career and your personal life. The number of women attorneys has steadily increased over time. Margaret Brent was the first female lawyer in the English colonies in 1648, and Arabella Mansfield was the first female lawyer admitted to the bar in Iowa in 1869. In the 1970s, there were about 8,000 women attorneys in the United States. That number increased in the 1970s to about 27,000. In the 1990s, there was about 63,000 women attorneys, and currently now there are approximately 520,000 women practicing law in the United States. This makes up about 40% of all practicing lawyers. So in short, we've come a long ways, ladies. Now, in order for us to kind of do that balance so that we can, quote, have and do it all, there's a couple of things that you need to do that I've incorporated into my life that has really helped me get closer to achieving this, right? It's still a challenge. It's a challenge for all of us, but there are some key things that you can be doing. It's going to make it a little bit easier for you. Number 1, set clear boundaries. Define your work hours and then stick to them as much as possible. I try and log off by 6 p.m. every night during the work week. I'll check emails on my phone until about 8 p.m. and I start checking emails again in the morning around 6 a.m. West Coast time. I'm a West Coast lawyer, but I have a lot of clients who are on the East Coast, so that's why I start a little bit early. I try not to return calls until West Coast business hours, so I try and do that between 8:30 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. That doesn't mean that I'm not checking emails, that I'm not working, or that I won't do something after hours, but I try really hard to set those clear boundaries that you're going to hear from me during West Coast business hours. That doesn't mean I'm not working, but it does mean that I'm letting my clients, opposing counsel, my team know that I do value my personal time, and I don't want work to trample into that personal time because I do need it. I need the downtime in order for me to be an efficient, effective, and on my A game as a lawyer. Now, to set these clear boundaries, you need to communicate your boundaries to your colleagues and to your client. My team knows that I generally do not schedule depositions, law in motion, mediations, or any types of meetings on Mondays and Fridays. Those are my days. I use Mondays to kind of prepare myself for the entire week. I use Fridays as kind of like my cleanup day. Anything I wasn't able to get to on my do, delete, delegate, and delay list, I do those on Friday. So that does not mean I don't have things set on Mondays, because sometimes I do set them. If a client is only available on Monday or only available on Friday, if I've got trial coming up and we've got, 12 depositions to set, then yeah, I need to hoard into that time. But I try very hard to not schedule anything on Mondays and Fridays. My team knows not to schedule anything for me. If I'm going to do something on a Monday or Friday, I've scheduled it for myself. Of course, court-mandated conferences and trials, those are a completely different story. I am at the mercy of the court's calendar. They're the ones who are going to be setting those. I do know, like for example, Orange County, most judges will set trial call for Friday. So I know when I'm getting ready for trial, I know that Friday before trial is my trial call, and that's kind of non-negotiable. Number 2, prioritize your self-care. Schedule regular downtime to recharge. The last Sunday of every month is when I sit down and I schedule out my self-care for the next month. I'll look at my calendar and I will schedule my hair appointment, my nail appointment. I have a local spa here that I have a membership to, and I get a facial there once a month. So I look at what my schedule looks like in my calendar for the next month, and I add in that self-care stuff throughout the month so that I get a little kick of a recharge each week. I try and spread it all out so I'm not doing it all in one week or all in one day. Number 1, it takes up too much time in a day. If I'm going to go to have, a beauty day of hair, nails, spas, the whole shebang, that's going to take up too much time in one day. Also, I like to spread it out because I like to have a little something to look forward each week, something that's going to help me recharge. As I mentioned before, I do like to cook and I like to try out new recipes. So on the weekends, that's when I menu plan. I do my grocery shopping and I meal prep. I love my local farmer's market, so I try and do that on Saturday morning. So I'll wake up in the morning, have coffee with my husband, I will do my grocery list, I'll do my menu plan, and then I'll head out to my local farmer's market and then finish up my grocery shopping. Sometimes I'll meet up with my sister after that. We'll grab brunch. As I mentioned, I do love to brunch. So I try and incorporate some of that self-care stuff with some of my, errands that I need to run. It makes the errands a little more enjoyable, and it gives me that time, again, away from the office to recharge and to really be able to be a wife, to be a sister, to be a friend, all the other roles that I play in real life, so that I can incorporate them into my life. Also, I like to incorporate activities that promote well-being, like exercise and spending time with, my sister or my husband. My husband and I get up most mornings during the weekday and we go for a walk on our hill. He's very competitive, so he always likes to try and beat our time. But it is a nice time for us in the morning to get up, spend about, 45 minutes to an hour together, talking a little bit about, what's going on in our lives, what we've got coming up, and it gives us an opportunity to connect. Also, it gets me moving in the morning, which is never a bad thing. Number 3, leverage technology. This is really important because we live in a technology-driven society right now. There are so many different apps out there to help you with your productivity. Now, it can get overwhelming, and I have been overwhelmed by it. But using productivity apps and tools to help manage your time can actually make you more productive. There are tons of products out on the market right now. Right now, I'm looking into things like Asana. I think there's Monday.com. Right now, I just use Outlook, my 4Ds, the do, delegate, delay, and delete. And then if you want, you can check out my very first Sunday Scary and I break down that entire process. But right now, what I use Outlook, and then I also have a paper calendar. I still like pen and paper. For me, that just it's concrete. I like to check things off. I like to cross things off my list. It makes me feel productive. So what I'll do is at the beginning of the week on Monday or Sunday evening, I would recommend doing it on Sunday evening. It's an hour out of your time in the evening right before the week starts, and then it really sets up your entire week for productivity. But I'll sit down, I'll spend about an hour, look at everything that I need to do that week, and then I just start scheduling the things I need to do Monday through Friday. And I write it in my hard calendar so that this is just the things that I need to be doing, because my Outlook calendar includes everybody on my team and everything that everyone needs to be doing. So that can get a little overwhelming, so I put everything down on my own calendar, and that helps me to stay focused. But do check out some of the productivity apps out there. Find one that works for you. Another common challenge for women attorneys is being taken seriously. Women attorneys are often faced with biases and stereotypes that can undermine their authority and their credibility. It's unfortunate that this is still a reality for a lot of women attorneys. It's getting better. Like I said, we represent about 40% of practicing attorneys in the United States. But some things that we can be doing to really help kind of continue to blaze that trail for attorneys that are coming behind us is speak confidently and clearly during your meetings and in courtrooms. What I mean by this is it's easy sometimes to get caught up in imposter syndrome or trying to be liked or not wanting to be confrontational. And it's really important that it's okay if you're confrontational. That's the business that we're in. But to speak clearly and to prepare for your court appearances, you don't have to be mean, you don't have to be nasty, you don't have to be that, kind of that stereotypical, chip on their shoulder kind of an attorney. But you do need to be confident. You need to stand up straight. You need to command a room and not wither under the pressure of being an attorney. Make eye contact. That's really, really important, especially when you're taking a deposition or you're speaking in a meeting. Having clear eye contact, using your body language helps to convey confidence to other people. Demonstrate competency. What I mean by this is be prepared. One thing that I've mentioned before, new associates and any attorney, if you are prepared, if you know your case inside and out, you know the facts, you know the strengths, you know the weaknesses, you are prepared for any meeting. You can speak with confidence and you can speak with competency if you are well prepared for a meeting. Don't go in by the seat of your pants thinking, oh, I can just wing it. I have suffered from that because I get super busy and I think, oh God, I can just wing this one. You can't. Be prepared. Write out your notes. Make sure that you've got, I like to keep separate notepads for each one of my cases. If I've got, an active caseload and let's say there's 10 cases on that list, I have 10 separate notepads, one for each of those cases. And then I take that with me into meetings. I take that with me into court so that if the court asks me something or a client asks me something or I'm in a deposition, I can flip back to my notes. I don't have to have everything up here and, at the tip of my tongue, but I do need to have it at the tip of my fingers. Let your knowledge be known and let your experience be known. Again, don't shy away from this. If you know something, speak up. And if you don't, listen up. Those are two really, really important traits to have as a female attorney in this industry, is know when to speak up and know when to listen up. And it comes with practice. So if you don't know something, totally fine. Check out my prior Sunday Scaries a couple of weeks ago where we talked about stupid questions. So that'll really help you to know when to speak up and talk about the things that you do know and when to listen up and gather information. Also important is addressing biases head on. If you encounter discriminatory behavior, address it directly but professionally. This might mean having to take something to HR, this might mean having to take something to your partner or to a higher up, but it also could mean taking something to the state bar. So there are professional rules of conduct, and you need to, if you are being treated unfairly and if you're being discriminated against by opposing counsel or by a court, you can complain to the state bar. Just make sure that you are doing it again directly and in a professional manner. And then finally, seek support from your colleagues and for your mentors. It happens. I can't tell you how many times to this day I have walked into a deposition and I've been mistaken for the court reporter. It doesn't offend me, but it does offend some women. So, make sure that if that's something that does happen to you, seek support from your colleagues and from your mentors. They can really help you put things into perspective, because at the end of the day, if someone is discriminating against you or they're treating you unfairly, it says more about them than it does about you. And keeping that in perspective can really help you arise above it, and continue to maintain your professionalism in the face of their unprofessionalism. Another key point is finding and being a mentor. Mentorship is crucial to career growth, but finding the right mentor can be challenging. Women attorneys often benefit from both male and female mentors who can offer different perspectives and experiences. So, for example, just recently I was up in San Francisco for one of my mentors' retirement party. He'd been practicing law for almost 50 years, has been with the same firm since he started practicing. And that perspective gave me really interesting insight. I appreciated the loyalty that he had to our firm. I appreciated the growth that he had. He talked about how when he first started practicing and being in the library with, other law clerks who were all awaiting their bar results, and really being able to combat that imposter syndrome that they were all feeling. Digging through a library book thinking, I don't know how to find the answer to this question that this partner just sent down to me. I feel like right now, because we are in kind of this new flux of hybrid working and remote working, we're losing a little bit of that collegial atmosphere that I try really hard on my own team to create. But seeking out mentorship, seeking out, like I said, both male and female, because they'll give you different perspectives. And then also, ones from different generations. Like I said, Bill's been practicing for 50 years, and that did give me a different perspective from, say, another mentor I had who's only about 3 or 4 years ahead of me. She gives me a different perspective. Her and I can talk about different things, and gathering it all around makes me a more rounded attorney. How to find mentors. Identify individuals that you admire and then reach out to them for guidance. Attend networking events and join professional organizations. This will help expand your network, and expand kind of your breadth of the people that you encounter. Building a diverse mentorship network is looking for mentors that have different backgrounds and different experiences. Don't limit yourself to just one mentor or one network or one area of law. Even people who don't practice the area of law that you do can still provide some really key insight to you. And as you can tell, I am a big proponent of paying it forward. So as you progress through your career, become a mentor to others. Like I said, one of my mentors is just a couple of years ahead of me in experience-wise. So you can be a mentor to someone who's just a year behind you, or even a colleague. You guys have different experiences. And so you can share your experiences, offer advice that can help the next generation of women attorneys navigate their own challenges. And finally, let's talk a little about career advancement and leadership. Advancing to leadership positions can be particularly challenging for women. However, with the right strategy, you can navigate these obstacles and achieve your career goals. I remember when I was first approached to manage our Orange County office, and my first thought was, why me? Why? What could you possibly think that I have that can contribute to this? I was a brand new partner. I think I had been a partner for about a year. I had been practicing law for about 15 years, and I'd only been with the firm for, let's say, 5. And I came over as a contract attorney, so I was already combating a lot of imposter syndrome in my own head about my value and my worthiness as an attorney. And I remember when they first approached me, my first thought was, oh, it's because I'm a woman. Otherwise, you never would have approached me. Like, it has nothing to do with, the type of lawyer I am, my experience, whether I'm a good lawyer or not, whether I'm a good trial attorney or not. I just thought, y'all need to check a box, and I'm the idiot who said yes. And I remember going to my first partner retreat as an office managing partner. I was not yet a national partner, which typically is a requirement to be invited to our partner retreat. But I was there as an office managing partner. And during one of our presentations, it was a lunchtime presentation, and our speaker up there was talking about minorities in the workplace, and minorities as well as women, and talking about that imposter syndrome and thinking that, the only reason I'm here is because the color of my skin or my gender. And it really, really hit home to me. And I remember after his speech, I came up to him and shared my story with him, saying, look, I'm struggling with that right now. I've been managing, our office for, probably 9 months at the time. And I remember him telling me, what if it is because you're a woman? What if it was? Who cares? Who cares how you got there? What are you going to do now that you're there? And I think that's really important for women to understand, that if you got hired because you were a woman, or if you think that you were hired because you were a woman, who cares? What are you going to do now that you're there? You've now been given this opportunity, whether it is in a law firm, whether it is in a management position, whether it's on a trial team, you've been given the opportunity. Who cares how you got there? What are you going to do now that you've got it? So let me break this down a little bit. So how to be strategic about your career moves. Seek out roles that offer growth and opportunity and align with your long-term goals. For me, I wanted to get into management. And so even though I didn't feel I was ready, I knew that this was something that was going to grow me, it was going to push me, and it was going to help elevate my career. So even though it scared me, I knew it was something that I wanted to do and that I needed to do for myself and for my career advancement. Don't be afraid to take risks and pursue challenges. At the end of the day, we're practicing law. So like we've said before, losses are going to happen, setbacks are going to happen, but don't let those risks or the potential challenges set you back so that you don't go after your goals. Constantly be developing your leadership skills. Invest in training and development programs. I am constantly investing in leadership programs and reading books about it because I want to be a good manager. I want to be a great lawyer. I want to do these things. And the only way I'm going to do that is if I continue to learn and I continue to grow. And you've got to seek out those opportunities and you've got to seek out that training in order to do so. Take advantage of leadership roles and professional organizations in your community. If you've given an opportunity, jump in feet first and really take advantage of that. And then finally, advocate for yourself. Make sure that your career aspirations are known. Right now, I'm attempting to level up in my own career, so I have let the partners ahead of me know what my aspirations are for this firm, and they know what next steps I want to be taking. Let your partners know, let your bosses know what next steps you want in your career. No one is going to advocate for you harder than you advocate for yourself. And then actively seek out promotions and leadership opportunities. We, as part of our new attorney training, we talk about how to advocate for yourself at your end of the year review. And that's really important. Like I said, no one's going to advocate harder for you than you, but you need to seek out those things. Ask for what you want. Ask for the promotion. And if you are denied the promotion, find out why, how you can improve. We're constantly improving. We're constantly growing. We're constantly up-leveling ourselves. So don't take criticisms as a negative thing. Take it as an opportunity to learn what you could be doing better. So, to all of the women attorneys out there listening today, remember the challenges that you face are not insurmountable. By setting clear boundaries, asserting your presence, seeking out mentorship, and advocating for yourself, you can navigate the legal field successfully and achieve your career goals while at the same time balancing the woman you want to be in your personal life. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of All Rise Mentors Sunday Scaries. If you found this discussion helpful, please do subscribe and leave us a review. Share this podcast with your friends. Until next time, face those Sunday scaries with confidence and turn them into opportunities for growth. Thanks so much. We'll see you again soon.